Hi Year 8. I want to do a quick video for you today just to talk through the 3, 2, 1 verbs, which we've seen a couple of in term 4 and term 5. So the verb that I'm going to focus on first is jugar, and as you've probably seen from this topic, jugar means to play. Now we know that it's to play because it's got an AR on the end. If a verb ends in AR, ER or IR, that's our infinitive form, and that is to do something. Now, as you hopefully remember, when we conjugate this verb, when we want to change it from to play into I play or you play, etc., what we would normally do with a normal verb is just remove that AR, so we've got our stem of jug all the way down. Okay, that's what we would do with a normal verb. What we then would do with a normal verb is add our AR endings. So for I, our ending is o. For you singular, our ending is as. He or she, our ending is a. We, it's amos. You plural, it's ais. And remember, we've got an accent on that A. And for they, an. So that's what we do with a normal verb. However, as I've said, jugar is a 3, 2, 1 verb, so it follows slightly different rules. Now, all of our endings stay exactly the same, they don't need to change at all. What does need to change is our stem, which is our jug part. So we break our verbs up, so we've got our first 3 there, our next 2 here, and our final 1 at the bottom. Our first 3 are going to have a slight spelling change, so it's not going to be jug anymore, it's going to become jueg. So it's not going to be jugo, but juego. Same for our next one, and same for our third one. So that's our 1, 2, 3. Okay, our next 2 do not have this spelling change. Our final one does have the spelling change. So we have juego, juegas, juega, jugamos, jugáis, juegan. And that is what happens with the 3, 2, 1 verb. I'm going to show you exactly the same thing. We've seen this verb in term 4, and it's poder. Okay, poder means to be able to, or can. Okay, we know it's to be able to, it's because it's got an ER on the end, that's in the infinitive form. So we're going to do exactly the same as what we just did. Normally, we would have pod, because we would get rid of our ER. Okay, but we then put our endings on. ER endings are slightly different. So we have o, and then it's ES because it's an ER verb, E because it's an ER verb, hemos, ace, and N. So you can see there's a pattern between our 2 verb endings there. ER verbs have E's instead of A's. But we need to remember this is a 3, 2, 1, so we break it down. 3, 2, 1. Our first 3 have a spelling change. Puedo, puedes, puede. Our next 2 don't change at all, and our last one does change. So in these 2 examples, the spelling change goes to a UE. Now that's not always the case with a 3, 2, 1 verb, but with a 3, 2, 1 verb, it's always that there is a spelling change in our stem there. So you will come across some more of those in term 6, but that's just something to be aware of. What we're going to do now is just a very quick exercise just to practice using those. So I'll keep the sheet here for reference. We're looking at task 2. Now this was on your week 3 worksheet from your term 5 home learning, and we're looking at putting the correct form of jugar in the gaps. We need to know, how do we know which one of those we need? So we've got 5 sentences and we need to work out what we need. For each of them it's going to be playing something. So in the first case, somebody is going to be playing rugby. We need to work out which form we need. We're looking at mis amigos. Mis amigos we know means my friends. If we're talking about my friends, we're talking about they. Okay, so we check back to our grid. They play, juegan. That's our last one, so we have got the spelling change for that. And then we've got my friends play rugby. For B, yo is the first one in our grid. That means I. And I'm going to be playing golf, so we need to look, double check. How do we say I play? It's the first one, juego. Third one, mi hermano y yo something al baloncesto. We know baloncesto is basketball. We know mi hermano is my brother. Y is and we know that yo is I. So if we're talking about my brother and I, it's talking about both of us. So we're saying we. That is in the middle here. Now we don't have a spelling change for this one, so it's jugamos. Mis padres for our next one, and hockey. So hockey is the sport that we're playing. Mis padres, sometimes you translate this as my dad's. This is the way to say my parents in general. So my parents, if we're talking about my parents, we're talking about they. So last one, juegan, which is similar to mis amigos. Okay, same form of the verb. So here, te gustan los deportes, tú something al voleibol y al badminton. So we know we've got volleyball and badminton, somebody's playing them. Tú is the person who's playing them. Now you can see in our verb grid here, I, you, he, she, we, you, they. Tú is our second one down, which is you singular. That is one that has our spelling change, so it's juegas. So you like, me gustan would be I like, te gustan is you like, sports, you play volleyball and badminton. Hopefully that's been a little bit helpful in helping you remember how 3, 2, 1 verbs work.